Hello everyone, this is a Sidos presentation, and the topic today is running apps on your Wi-Fi survey device. And as far as I understand, this is the first time ever, so anybody does it, so let's see how that pans out. My name is Mika Hakala, and I'm a founder, CEO of Sidos, and before this I was a Ekahau CEO, and I've actually done some real engineering work designing Wi-Fi chipsets a little earlier. So let's see, so what's the whole deal about running apps on a survey device? So this is a Sidos survey device, and if you think about it, Wi-Fi survey device can be a very good platform to run apps, because you have multiple Wi-Fi radios, you have unobstructed antenna array for getting really good accurate measurements. They're very mobile, and if you've done certain decisions, then you can do things without smartphone or PC or cables or anything. And I'm sure some of you are thinking that, okay, well, I have my tools already, and I know you do, but you don't have tools this fast, light and easy to use, and I'll show you a couple of demos here. And when you turn on Sidos Wave, exactly 0 seconds later, you get that kind of screen. There's no boot up time at all, and there are several apps. This is still a survey device mainly, but it can do other things, and I'm going to show you a couple of them. The first micro app that I'm talking about here is AP Tracker. And this is like a very generic thing for many problems that you may have in the field. When you start it, you get this kind of view, and there's a live tab, filter, and focus tabs. And we believe this is the fastest way ever to see what's in the air. So you click it, and you get a list of all APs in the area, and you look for whatever you're looking for. You can sort things by SSID, up, down, by MAC address, up, down, or by frequency, and of course by, DBM. So sometimes you look for very strong APs. Want details? We got you. Click, with your finger, press one of those and hold for a little while. Opens the detail view, and at the top you see the RSSI, and here's a use case, not very smart, but I'm trying to make sure that that AP is mine. I'm fairly sure it is, but as you can see, the RSSI measurements are pretty fast. You get all kinds of other information as well as you scroll down. A little smarter use case is looking for APs that are in a drop ceiling or behind drywall or something because of the form factor and how fast it is. So that works really nicely. Sometimes you need to track a few APs, not one, not all of them, but a few. Here's an example of me walking through an area, and I'm tracking 3 APs at the same time. So I want to only see these 3, and this is going to be very helpful, for example, roaming issues or situations where you don't quite know where the cell edges are. Actually, we wanted to make it very easy for you to see exactly what you want to see. So there's something we call the filter constructor in this app, and it allows you to select what you want to see. And you can say, I want to see 1 or more channels, I want to see or bands, or I want to see 1 or more networks or MAC addresses, and then you have some other tags that you can use, and all those become pass or block filters. So let me show an example. So let's say I have a Wi-Fi network, 2.4 and 5 gigahertz bands, and I think I have all my 5 gigahertz APs configured to 80 megahertz wide, but I don't know if that's the case. So what I can do is I say, okay, show me 5 gigahertz, show me my network only, and show me 80 wide. Or actually, I want to see anything that is not 80. And here's how you build that constructor in real time. So select your network. Great, I tag it. I go to the focus view, and now I see only my network, but it's 2, 4, and 5. So next thing is I only want to see 5 gigahertz. Okay, done. Now I'm looking at only 5 in real time. And then I say, okay, which ones are 80? So I just select 80, and there they are. But actually, I'm looking for anything that's not 80. Not a lot of information, just the ones that are not 80. So I just go and say block 80, show anything else. There you go. I have one AP that's on 20 megahertz wide. So you can build all kinds of rules. For example, public trade shows, maybe are Wi-Fi policing. You should not have anything except your network in 5 gigahertz. So just select yours, 5 gigahertz block. If anything shows up on screen, it's something infringing because it's not supposed to be there. Okay? So the next app I want to show you is what we call Mesh app. Very innovative name, I'm sure. But I believe this is the easiest mesh deployment tool ever. So I don't know if you guys do it, but mesh networks are, pretty popular these days. There's cheap, inexpensive, very good hardware out there. And the deployment problem, of course, is that typically you don't have floor plans, you can't do predictive, you can't do surveys, and you really don't have time for it either. So what we did is, developed a micro app for mesh deployments. Just hit that mesh deployment, app, and this is what you get. So I'm in this demo. In interest of time, I'm like 2/3 through the deployment. So I've deployed 4 mesh pods. And at the top, you see the horizontal bars, and they are the client-facing signal strength at 2.4 and 5, also support 6. And then you see the elements, gateway, pod 1, 2, 3. And then these vertical bars are the backhaul signal strength between the pods. Okay? And as I start walking through this deployment, you see I'm walking here, okay? I can constantly see what the signal strength is that the primary coverage for the clients, and I'm also tracking all the backhaul signals at the same time. And you see that the clients are being served by gateway pod now. As I walk further, they should roam. At least the best primary coverage comes from P3, and I continue walking, it switches to P2, and so on. And eventually, if I continue walking a little further, the pods are left so far behind that the coverage starts coming down to a certain level, and the bars would go yellow. And that makes it very easy for anyone, even if you are not the Wi-Fi expert, to know that, okay, I need another pod. So P4 to the play. I would find a central location, and I would use the vertical bars to make sure that that is a good location so that it can get the good mesh signal from some of the existing pods. I would plug it in, rinse and repeat. So deploying mesh networks doesn't have to be a guessing game. One cool thing, I think this audience likes this, is that whatever you see after the filter is also piped into a file. So there's a CSV file that will include exactly the information that you filtered and want to see. This is a 3-second excerpt from the previous demo. Not very exciting, but you can build any kind of filter you want, and it's there. And the cool thing is that you don't have to be there yourself. Build the filter, turn off the screen, get some duct tape or cable ties, put it on a forklift, do your stuff. Pick it up in the evening, and you have a wealth of data because it was traveling around and collecting data for you. And you will see what you wanted to see or what you don't want to see. If you're filtering for rogue access points, well, then you have a list of them. And because it's CSV file, you can craft it any way you want. It's your data. So, use Excel, if you will. In here, this is just graphing the previous, small mesh demo. You can see some APs, kicking in, and as I walk, they fade out. And then max RSSI, which shows that at any point where I was in the deployment, there's always a good signal, good RSSI for clients. So in summary, survey tools are great for surveys, great, but they could actually be doing quite a bit more. And these Sidos micro apps, I don't expect them to replace your tools. You have good tools for good use, but there are many tasks that I don't believe you can have a faster, easier way or more mobile way of doing them. And something that's pretty cool is that these can be very canned. So, anybody can use them, even if they're not Wi-Fi experts. For example, that Mesh app, you start it, there's no buttons, no MAC address, nothing. You just follow green, yellow, red, traffic light colors, so anybody should be able to learn to deploy mesh networks real quick. And we can customize them or custom build them. So this platform allows us to build any kind of micro app you might need. And if you want to see us, we are available later today, and we would really want to hear, what could a micro app do for your organization. And we are at Zurich 3 and 4, 6:15 for Americans, 18:15, 100 hours for Europeans and military people. Thank you.